Hello Capricorn, my name is Keith Haswell and I'm your professional astrologer for the moment. And I've had a lot of experience in the business, 40 years experience as a professional astrologer and teacher of astrology and metaphysics, and also 30,000 clients worldwide. It's my pleasure, Capricorn, to welcome you to this particular video on your personal relationships from your transits during November 2014. Now, I've written 2 books on astrology, meditation and reincarnation, and turned them into CDs. First of those are 12 CDs out of my first book, What Really Matters, and that's sent to you free of charge when you put in your birth details through the Your Horoscope page of my website. I've written 140 or produced 140 videos, YouTube videos on all aspects of personal growth and spiritual growth, and it's my pleasure to be able to be of service to you further. Now, what I'm going to do for you here, Capricorn, is to help you to understand more about personal relationships. And I mean, relationships are not just relationships with lovers and romance and so forth. We have personal relationships throughout our life with relatives, neighbours, those who cohabitate with us in the home, family, parents, children, lovers, workmates, spouse and partner, also with business associates and with friends. So there's a lot of different personal relationships in our life, and that's what makes the spice of life and makes us real. And all of us are facing tests in life, and what I'm prepared to do for you when you submit your birth details through the Your Horoscope page of my website, the website will show up on the screen later on in the video, so you can write that down, or you can write it down now. It's www.mysteryofsirius.com. You can write that down and go to my website and submit your birth details, and then I send you your horoscope chart free of charge, together with 12 CDs out of my first book, What Really Matters, where I take you in and out of meditation time and time again to help you to become more of who you really are. But most importantly, I do now a new service, which is a personal relationship report that is a few pages just based on your horoscope personally, not a generality. So it's on your horoscope personally. I look at your social planets and the signs that they sit in, the houses of your horoscope that they sit in, and most importantly, the relationship that they form with other planets in your personal horoscope. And that reveals how you've been doing in previous lives, how you've been loving, and whether you've been fair in relationships, what sort of baggage did you bring over with you from past relationships into this life, into this lifetime in terms of relationships, and what tests that you've set for yourself in this incarnation as far as your growth in terms of loving and relationships are concerned in this particular incarnation. So all of that is done for you free of charge. So just sit back and relax now, and what I'm going to do for you now, Capricorn, is to look at the transits of the planets as they impact upon the social planets, and they have impact upon you personally in relation to the houses that they rule and so forth. So I'll put it on a timeline for you. They're only minor influences lasting a day either side of the date that I give you, apart from the full moon and the new moon influences, which I'll tell you about also. Now, starting off on the 2nd of November, Capricorn, you've got a negative Neptunian influence, which will scatter emotions and feelings, bring chaos into your life, secret worries, bad judgment, and particularly to do with family, parents and friends who can let you down and deceive you in some way, shape or form. On the 4th of November, Capricorn, you've got a Pluto influence which will fortify and strengthen determination and willpower, particularly in your horoscope, to make changes within yourself. Now, on the 7th of November, you've got a full moon, falls in your 5th house of your horoscope, and that means that the projects that you've started and initiated in the previous 2 weeks have now got to be consolidated and stabilised over the next 2 weeks. So it's not a good time for starting new major projects with a full moon there for the next 2 weeks after the 7th of November. Now on the 10th of November, Capricorn, you've got a Jupiterian influence, which is very beautiful, stimulates your love nature, projects you into all sorts of social activities, particularly with children, romance and love. If you're in the market for a romance, it's good. Favourable through workmates and career and also business associates and parents. But you've got to be careful of your judgment. There can be a little bit of underhandedness there and potential for secret activities. Now on the 11th of November, you've got a Pluto influence which will bring about a tremendous amount of energy wanting to change you and wanting to make changes inside of yourself. It impacts upon the family and the domestic side of life, and it impacts upon your relationship with friends. So there can be a bit of stress and tension focusing through those who cohabitate with you, and also to do with friends. On the 13th of November, Capricorn, you've got a Saturn influence which is going to dry up social activities. So any social activities that you've got planned might be obstructed or delayed around that time. And there's particularly problems to do with romance and love if that's in your life, and also to do with career and business, and things to do with children as well. So there's going to be a few blockages there at that time. Now on the 14th of November, Capricorn, you've got a Jupiterian influence again, which is going to be a very good cycle for inner change and transformation within yourself, joint finances, and it's very favourable for you generally to do with the social side of your life. Now on the 18th of November, Capricorn, you've got a Saturn influence which does bring problems for you on the social side of your life. Frustrations, a little bit of ill health there potentially, and joint finances don't go well. On the 22nd of November, Capricorn, you've got a new moon. You've got a new moon on the 22nd of November. That's a very exciting thing to happen in this month for you, Capricorn. It's a good time over the next 2 weeks to commence and start major projects and get them going. And you'll have a lot of extra energy to be able to do that. It falls in the 12th house of your horoscope, so inner change, transformation can come well, particularly through solitude. Now on the 27th of November, you've got a Uranian influence. With Uranus, it always brings the unexpected. So you can meet someone on a 1,000,000 to 1 chance that I ran into you. Or someone just turns up all of a sudden out of the blue that you haven't seen for months and says, oh, I want to get together with you and have a drink or whatever. So unusual social activities, unusual social influences, but very beneficial for you. And it's very favourable to do with love and relationships and romance, and to do with career, business and parents. And the last one we come to, Capricorn, is on the 27th of November. That sees a Neptunian influence, which is a negative influence, sees a few secret worries surrounding you. It impacts mainly upon the 8th house of your horoscope, so it does impact upon inner change and transformation, which comes through inner uncertainty and instability, and joint finances are going to be a bit haywire during that time as well. And that's as far as I go for you. But look, it's very important for you to get your hands on this printed report that I do for you on personal relationships, so that you understand yourself more and you understand what sort of qualities, principles and values that you've developed in previous lifetimes, and also what tests that you've set for yourself in this particular incarnation in terms of relationships, with all sorts of relationships. So it'll be very insightful for you to get your hands on that. And that's all sent to you free of charge just by submitting your birth details, and I send you your horoscope chart as well. So it's nice to have this opportunity, Capricorn, to be of service to you further. I look forward to working further with you should you take me up on that. And the website address should have appeared by now. You can always find it though in the description of the video, because I always put the website address in there for you. Thank you.